What's happening, hardscapers? This is episode 6 of the How to Hardscape podcast, where we talk to you about how you can start and grow your hardscaping business. Tune in every week as we cover a subject and interview industry leaders on how you can grow your hardscaping business, from new installation methods, techniques, tools, marketing, financials, and so much more. If you have not yet subscribed to the podcast, be sure to do that on your favorite podcasting app. Subscribe and leave a review and a rating on this podcast. This really helps us get this podcast out there and into other people's ears. We really like seeing on Instagram people taking screenshots of the episodes that they're listening and posting them to their stories, tagging us at How to Hardscape. That's really great to see. Thank you so much to everyone that's sharing this podcast around. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about open graded bases, everything you need to know about installing these bases. Let's get right into it. So open graded bases, or sometimes called hybrid bases, are a base preparation method that includes clear stone, clean stone that has no fines in it. So this allows water to flow right through your base and is a fairly newer method of installation. Now, since I've joined the industry 13 years back now, this method, this 1/4 inch crushed or 3/8 inch crushed chip had just become start to get some traction in the industry, though it was still very slow for contractors to join in on what is called HPB or high performance bedding and installing those. But since then, it's become really a main thing that contractors are using, at least in our area. And this new open graded base system that's becoming more and more prevalent from what I've seen online through Instagram and other contractors that are really grabbing onto this installation method and rolling with it. And it's great to see. So I thought we would take an episode to explain what this open grade base is and what is consisted of in it. Now, a traditional base is using a granular A gravel or ASTM D2940 product. This is a product that has a crushed stone in it with fines mixed in it, and this is used for, driveways, walkways, patios. The base for those. And on top of that, what would be used is an inch, no more than an inch of concrete sand. In the past, people used stone dust or limestone chip for this, and this has since, been way... if you're still using this stone dust product, you need to get away from it. Manufacturers won't warranty their products on top of it. It doesn't allow the penetration of water. So we've long since moved past stone dust. Concrete sand is still used, but there is another method, and this is what we're going to talk about with open graded bases. Now let's start with the two different materials that is used in this open graded base system. The two different types of aggregates that are going to be used, beginning with the ASTM number 57. This is a 3/4 inch open graded crushed rock. It has absolutely no fines in it, and it's recommended to use minimum 6 to 8 inches, depending on your location, where you are regionally. Different frost cycles will determine what depth you go with it, but regardless of that, whatever you prepare your patios, your walkways currently to the depth, that's what you're installing this 3/4 inch crushed stone. Now, with this 3/4 inch crushed stone, you want to make sure it's a clean product. I know different suppliers in our area have this 3/4 inch crushed stone, and it's not clean. It's not clear. It has it hasn't been washed, so it's still got some leftover fines or any dirt or anything into it. You want to make sure that what you're getting is a washed product. It is a clear stone. And on top of your 3/4 crushed stone is going to be the ASTM number 8 stone. This is a 3/8 inch chip or a 1/4 inch angular crushed rock with no fines in it. It is going to replace your concrete sand layer. Concrete sand would flow right through your clear stone, your 3/4 inch clear. This crushed product is going to be your final bedding layer for leveling. It's not going to flow through your 3/4 inch crushed stone base, and it's going to act as your screeding layer to lay your stones on top of. Now we're going to get into the installation of these aggregates and why they're going to help you speed up efficiency and help you on the job site. But let's say this to start off with. Because they are a crushed stone with no fines, they already come with a very high rate of compaction. ASTM number 57, the 3/4 inch crushed stone already has a high rate of compaction, and we still tamp it. But we can do larger lifts with it than we would with another product. And the final bedding layer, ASTM number 8, has already a high compaction rate of, I've heard different numbers, but around 97% compaction. So the final compaction of that layer will come when you are consolidating your polymeric sand, and it is not going to go down much at all, if anything. Now, why should you be installing an open graded base? We're going to go through some different aspects of why you should be installing an open graded base, starting with permeability. Allowing any water that penetrates through your stone and polymeric sand to permeate through your base is the best way in ensuring the freeze and thaw cycle of your climate will not affect your project. With such a harsh winter in a lot of North America, we need to do everything we can to make sure that your patios, your walkways will be able to withstand the winters, and the open graded base is designed to do just that, allowing water to penetrate right through the base with no fines hanging on to that water. Another reason is the ease of installation, and like we said earlier, with such a high compaction rate of these two open graded aggregates, it makes for such an easy install of the base and the final leveling layer. You can lay more in your lifts before compaction than you would with any other aggregate. And in addition, with no fines present in the materials, there's no mess if it rains and less to clean up. They're so much easier to work with from an installation perspective, which makes them perfect material for any hardscaper to use, which brings me to my next point. They're workable in any weather condition. If it rains and you're installing a traditional base, you may be out of luck and it's a rain day and you lose that day in your schedule. But because your fines will wash out and you can't get that screeding level layer in. But with open graded aggregates, you can work in any weather condition, and you can work in the rain without fear of your bedding layer being washed away or any mess happening. This means you got more time for your crew throughout the year and more money to make in the process. Just ask yourself, how many days do you think you waste due to rain? Especially in the spring and fall seasons, these rain days, they suspend projects. Using an open graded base system, you're really going to have your crews running even during those rain days if you need to. And continuing with that, washout in a traditional base project with these fines, especially the sand as a bedding layer, you experience washout. Washout occurs especially in these raised patio installations where the sand can go through your wall, or this is like over a lot of time. There's definitely going to be a washout, and washout is going to lead to sinking. Open graded aggregates are too large to be washed through these areas, and because they're angularly crushed, they have resistance to this washout. You have minimal loss and less callbacks, leading into insects and weeds. Insects love the fines in a traditional base installation. I can't tell you how many times we've had to fix somebody else's concrete sand bedding layer because the insects got into it. But with these larger angular crushed stones in these open graded systems, the insects and the weeds, they do not have much of a chance in them to establish their roots or for insects to burrow through them. Again, another reason to get these open graded systems going in your bases. They also increase sales, and we already talked about the efficiency factors of installing an open graded base, but allowing you to use your crews through rain days, it's going to make you more money, but it's also going to increase sales in your business. Everything we've discussed so far in this episode are selling points for your customer and something that other contractors might not be able to offer your customer because they aren't installing these bases or they don't know about these bases. When you meet with your customer, inform them of this base installation method, let them know the benefits of this. It will quickly become apparent to them that you are the contractor that they're going to want to hire. Don't oversell yourself. Make sure that they understand what they are getting into. But most other contractors may have not switched to this method just yet, or perhaps some of them, they haven't communicated this base installation method to their customer. This is where communicating the advantages of the open graded base system for their installation will help you sell more projects. It has helped us dramatically improve our sales, and most of our customers were never explained this method by any other contractor that we met with in the past. And by communicating this to them, the benefits of it, it really helps them understand the best base installation method for them. And this leads to finally fewer callbacks, having fewer callbacks. And we've seen this online in groups and in different discussions about this, that contractors are having fewer callbacks about this, which means less headaches, wasted time, less angry customers. It's just so much better for you. Now let's talk about the steps to preparing an open graded base system. Starting with the planning, preparation, and excavation, nothing for this changes. You're still going to keep the same depth that you've been installing in the past, and you're still going to be allowing for us, it's 6 to 8 inches of your base material. You should check your regional area. What is the optimum level to prepare your base to? We also allow for 1 inch of the bedding layer, and then our paver height, which is typically 2 3/8 of an inch, depending on the thickness of your paver, though. The next step of the process is the soil identification and amendment. So before your excavation, hopefully you know what soil you're working with. In our area, we work with a lot of clay soils. So what we typically do is an amendment of those soils. This allows for more water-bearing capability of this soil. So with a clay soil, what we're going to do is we're going to lay down some Portland cement, and we're going to lay down also some 3/4 inch crushed stone with that Portland cement, and we're going to tamp that all down. This amends our soil, again, improves the water bearing ability of that soil, and it's going to make for a stronger base. Number 3 is installing your geotextile fabric. Depending on what type of strength you want, you could be looking at a woven geotextile or a non-woven geotextile fabric. And you're going to lay that on top of your amended base, and you're going to want to overlap and make sure that your overlaps are making sure that water is not going to go underneath any of those pieces of geotextiles. So we typically start at the furthest point from the house, laying a piece down, and then continuing towards the house, making sure that overlap is going to allow water to get away from any foundation in our slope or any existing structure that we want water to get away from. We don't want that water to be going underneath our geotextile fabric. We want it to be going over top of it, shingling our pieces of geotextile fabric on top of one another. You also want to make sure with your geotextile fabric that you're allowing for enough to come up the sides of your installation, and we also bring up enough to bring it up and over our installation to cover up some of that base as well. Again, it never hurts to have more than to have not enough in this situation, so make sure you allow for that amount to come up the sides of your installation. This is going to make sure that none of your aggregates are going to migrate into the subsoils around it or vice versa. Now, installing the base is very similar to a typical traditional base installation. It's just we're going to use 2 different products, and we talked about those 2 different products, the 3/4 inch crushed stone and the 3/8 inch or 1/4 inch angular crushed stone. One thing to note about the 3/8 inch or 1/4 inch crushed stone is that you're going to want to make sure it's angular crushed. There are other types of stones on the market that claim to be this HPB or high performance bedding or 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch chip. you want to make sure that it's angular crushed. There are products on the market that are almost like a pea stone, not so angular crushed, and this is not it's not going to give you the true compaction rate that the 3/8 inch and 1/4 inch angular crushed stone is going to give you. So make sure you double check with your supplier before you get that delivered. Now, with the 3/4 inch crushed stone, the ASTM number 57 stone, we install ours in 4-inch lifts. In this 4-inch lift, after we install it, we compact and then we install our next 4-inch lift. This we find gives us the best rate of compaction. Remember, in a traditional base method, typically your lifts are a bit smaller than that when you're compacting. But like we said, with this ASTM number 57 stone, it's going to give you a higher rate of compaction, laying it down just as is. Between our lifts, to add a little bit of strength, we usually add in some biaxial geogrid. This provides strength in both directions, and it provides strength to your base, not allowing any migration of stone up or down in your installation. So this is just added insurance to your product, and it's cheap insurance, and we definitely recommend doing this, and we'll talk about this in another episode about adding this geogrid to your bases. Now, once our lifts are done for this 3/4 inch crushed stone, we prepare our screeding layer of the ASTM number 8 or the 3/8 inch or 1/4 inch chips, and this is again screeded just like anything else. And you'll find when you work with it, it is extremely easy to work with, and it's so much better to use, especially for during rain days or working in the rain. It's the perfect product for you. Laying the interlock, you're going to lay it as you normally would, and installing the polymeric sand, very same thing. Now, there is some concern about polymeric sand seeping into that 1/4 inch chip or 3/8 inch chip. But in our experience, it's very minimal, if any. And from what we've heard of other contractors, it's a no worry thing. We have heard contractors using another layer of fabric on top of that 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch screed layer. I mean, we haven't done that in the past. We've had no problems. It's up to you if you want to do that or not. But again, we wouldn't. It's just an added cost to you. And from the contractors that we've talked to about this installation method, none of them do it. They don't see a problem with it at all either. Now, of course, before your final compaction to consolidate that polymeric sand, you want to install your edge restraint. Now, this is where edge restraint, those plastic edging edge restraints with the 10-inch spikes, do not work in an open graded system. This is because those spikes that corrode to give the strength to the edge restraint, that corrosion grafts onto those fines in those traditional bases, and that's what gives it its strength. And again, those fines are not in this open graded system. So a lot of contractors are using a concrete collar or toe around the project. And another product that is available for this as well is PermaEdge, and we're going to be interviewing the CEO of PermaEdge in the next episode next Monday, talking to you about this product that a lot of people are standing behind, especially in these open graded base systems. Again, you cannot use that plastic edging with the 10-inch nails in these open graded base systems. Those nails will not have anything to hang on to. And after you do your final compaction of the polymeric sand, your project is complete after that polymeric sand is wetted and it is activated, just like any other installation. And that is it. If you have any questions about an open graded base installation, we would love to hear from you. Reach out to us on our Instagram at HowToHardscape. Let us know what you thought about this episode. Ask us any questions that you'd like. We'd love to talk to you more about this. If there's anything in this episode that you did not like, we'd still love to hear back from you. Anything you have, any suggestions, any comments, let us know at HowToHardscape. You can reach out to us there. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Visit howtohardscape.com for more information. There's a search bar there. You can search anything you want, and our posts will show up for that subject. Let us know what you want to learn about in future episodes by reaching out on our social channels. We're at HowToHardscape everywhere, or contact us directly, contact at howtohardscape.com. And we'd love it if you would subscribe and leave a rating and a review on this podcast on your favorite podcasting app. Again, this really helps us get this podcast out there and into other people's ears. You can also help share it on your favorite social media channel to whoever you want to, and it really helps us get more guests on the show and more guests interested in appearing on the show to deliver you more valuable information. We look forward to meeting with you next week on the How to Hardscape podcast.